Welcome to another CMMI Tech Talk in our series that provides brief overviews of individual practice areas. In this talk, we shall be looking at the high maturity practice of managing security threats and vulnerabilities, MST Practice 4.1. In this video, we shall discuss the intent of this practice and look at what value it can provide to an organization to improve an organization's security posture and processes. The practice summary table shows only one practice at level 4, Practice 4.1. The practice statement states, employ threat intelligence analysis to develop and improve the solution security approach and architecture, and to select security solutions to address threats and vulnerabilities using statistical and other quantitative techniques. As security becomes increasingly important, so does the ability to identify vulnerabilities and detect and counter potential threats. A robust security approach has traditionally been the preserve of larger organizations, defense contractors, or financial institutions. Advances in computer technology and the modern digital landscape now make it possible and a requirement for a much broader set of businesses to understand their security vulnerabilities and be able to act to counter threats. Before we further discuss the value of MST 4.1, we need to better understand the key concept this practice introduces. Threat intelligence analysis, also referred to as intelligence threat analysis or cyber threat intelligence analysis, is a crucial component of modern cybersecurity and security efforts. It involves collecting, processing, analyzing, and disseminating information related to potential threats, risks, vulnerabilities, and attacks. The primary goal of threat intelligence analysis is to provide decision makers with timely and actionable insights to help them protect against and respond to threats effectively. Let us now briefly discuss the key aspects of threat intelligence analysis. Number 1, data collection. The organization gathers data from various sources, including open source information or government agencies such as the United States Department of Defense Cybercrime Center, which provides reports on recent cyber threats and malicious activity. This data can include various industry reports, internal network logs, malware signatures, IP addresses, and domain names associated with malicious activities. 2. Data processing. Once collected, the data needs to be processed to remove duplicates and irrelevant information. 3. Analysis. This is the core of threat intelligence analysis. Analysts use techniques, tools, and expertise to examine the processed data. They identify patterns, trends, and anomalies that may indicate potential threats. The analysis can be divided into 3 categories. Strategic analysis. This focuses on long-term trends and emerging threats. It helps organizations understand the bigger picture of cyber threats and informs strategic decisions. Tactical analysis. This involves analyzing specific threats or incidents in real time or near real time. It helps organizations respond quickly to ongoing attacks. Operational analysis. Analysts provide detailed information about threats, including tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPs, that threat actors use. This information aids in devising effective defensive strategies. 4. Attribution. In some cases, analysts attempt to attribute threats to specific threat actors or entities. Attribution can be challenging, as sophisticated attackers often use techniques to obfuscate their identities. 5. Reporting and dissemination. The findings are communicated to relevant stakeholders, including senior management, IT security teams, law enforcement organizations such as the Interpol Cybercrime Collaboration Services, and other entities that may be affected. 6. Actionable insights. One of the primary objectives of threat intelligence analysis is to provide actionable insights. This means offering recommendations on how to mitigate or respond to identified threats. These recommendations can range from patching software vulnerabilities to implementing security controls or enhancing incident response plans. 7. Continuous monitoring. Threat intelligence is not a one-time effort. It's an ongoing process. Analysts continuously monitor the threat landscape, adapt to evolving tactics, and update their assessments and recommendations accordingly. 8. Feedback loop. Threat intelligence analysis benefits from a feedback loop that allows analysts to learn from incidents and improve their processes and understanding of threats over time. In summary, threat intelligence analysis is vital for organizations to proactively protect themselves against various threats, including cyber attacks, terrorism, espionage, and more. It helps decision makers make informed choices to enhance security posture and reduce risks based on data and advanced analytic and quantitative techniques. Moreover, threat intelligence sharing among organizations and between the public and private sectors has become increasingly important to defend against sophisticated adversaries collectively. Now that we better understand the key concept of MST 4.1, let's discuss the practice in more detail. As the practice area title suggests, and as echoed in the practice area intent and value statements, the concept of security threats and vulnerabilities is central to the execution of threat intelligence analysis and achieving the value of this practice. So, let's quickly review what these terms mean in the context of the CMMI model. According to the glossary, a security threat is any circumstance or event with the potential to adversely impact organizational operations, including mission, functions, assets, personnel, processes, systems, or brand reputation through unauthorized access, destruction, disclosure, modification of information, or denial of service. Whereas a security vulnerability is defined as a weakness in a solution, information system, system security procedure, internal control, or implementation that could be exploited by a threat source. Threats are therefore things that could adversely affect us, and vulnerabilities are the mechanisms through which a threat could be exploited. For example, using threat intelligence analysis, we might identify a new virus targeting the type of applications our company develops. This threat might have a high probability of defeating the current antivirus in use by our organization, but a low probability of defeating a different antivirus from a competitor. A cost-benefit analysis can then be conducted to determine if the cost of switching antiviruses outweighs the potential data loss should the virus be introduced into our system. Industry analysis is currently being conducted to predict the probability of a cyber attack based on the industry and the type of work being performed. Threats are generally ever present, and we can best protect against them by understanding the probabilities of a cyber attack based on the threat, understanding the associated vulnerabilities, and taking steps to address them. MST 4.1 requires an organization to leverage threat intelligence analysis to identify, predict, and quantifiably understand adversaries and their motivations and intentions in ways that help both the security and all levels of organizational personnel continuously and systematically protect the critical assets of the enterprise. To summarize, MST 4.1 requires an organization to implement processes and procedures where the organization applies statistical and quantitative techniques to identify threats, takes a proactive approach to cybersecurity, establishes an analysis capability to identify and analyze threats and vulnerabilities, uses threat intelligence analysis to predict and address security threats by processing and exploiting threat intelligence data, identifies criteria to categorize and prioritize threats and vulnerabilities to ensure efficient use of limited security resources. Thank you for joining us for this CMMI Tech Talk. If you have questions, please contact us at support.isaca.org.